Jazzie KWard. Artist Talk. Live one-on-one conversation, 30 minutes of pure entertainment with musicians, writers, and actors, to motivators, chefs, and even rappers, to up-and-comings with the it factor. It's the Jazzie KWard coming at ya. Have fun, some smiles, a few laughs. Tune in, chime in, sit back, relax. Have fun, some smiles, a few laughs.
Hey everybody, happy Thursday and welcome to another edition of Artist Talk. I'm your host, Jazzie KWard. Thank you so much for inviting me in your homes, wherever you are across the world. And again, thank you so much for your support of the show. As always, if you have another device, or stop what you're doing and go over to KWard Radio on my YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. Yeah, right there. Just click that bell so you can get all the notifications about the show. So when I come on, you'll be like, hey, y'all, Jazzie is on. I got to catch them. Go back and watch the replays, as well as subscribe to my website, KWardRadio.com. Well, guys, I'm excited. Another great show. Talking to my friend, recording artist. He's a composer. He's a songwriter. He's a producer. He's passionate about his music, the piano. He puts his heart and soul in the performance, and you could just hear it in the keys. And that's why William Green has that it factor. So I'm going to show you a snippet right here on Artist Talk. That's right. Did you hear the keys? Did you hear the sounds of the keys? So I'm gonna ask William tonight. Maybe this brother can teach me how to play. Well, I need to know how to play by the 28th. The 28th of April is my birthday. So I don't know if he can work some kind of magic, guys, out for me. But we'll talk about it. So without further ado, let's welcome William Green, composer, songwriter, producer. He's also a vocalist too. So let's share the video. Let's give him a lot of love and bring him on in the room.
Hey, what's up, Jazz?
What's up, my brother? How are you?
Brother, everything is well. I was slightly laughing as you were introducing me, and I was saying to myself, who could he be talking about? Me?
Exactly. The one and only.
I'm like, wait a minute. I knew nothing about all of that information pertaining to me, man.
Okay, I tell people this. If you don't know William Green, shame on you for not knowing this brother.
From your mouth to the universe's ears. Yes, sir.
That's right. So how was your day?
Brother, my day was great. As other powerful people such as yourself, we have used the definition or the word rather great to define a day that was complex, not complicated.
Right.
But complex.
Complex. That's
yes.
right.
And with those complexities comes challenges.
That's right.
Sometimes slight degrees of confusion, maybe in terms of communicating and getting the right information across so that the person that we're communicating with understands. But nonetheless, when it's all said and done, it's a great day.
You're right. It's a great, just to go back to what you were saying, William, things being complex, just this last year and a half has been quite a challenge, hasn't it?
Quite a challenge, my friend. I don't use the word pandemic. However, I do use the word, but not to be disrespectful to anyone or the circumstances around it. I use the word plandemic.
Plandemic. Explain that.
This is not musical, and it's not really something that a lot of people would want to embrace and or share. It is just my personal viewpoint. But based on what I witnessed over the last year and a half, the dots that were set before me, the dots that were set before human beings, I see a pattern.
Okay.
A pattern that represents something was designed, something was intended.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, I embrace the plandemic for numerous reasons. Number one, because it allowed me the necessary tools in which to focus on my health, my mental well-being, my spiritual well-being, my social well-being, family, acquaintances, my music. It allowed myself, other powerful individuals, to become more self-centered, not selfish,
right,
but self-centered. And so with that, has come great growth, in which I'm sure that my friends and fans will hear that in my music, because my music is no more than a reflection of my life.
Right.
It's been good, brother.
It's been good, brother. When you mention that about the pandemic, even with myself, it gave me time to be more creative, focus back on myself, because life catches all of us. We're so busy. We focused on so many things, trying to, prioritize, different things. And for me, mind, body, and soul, all I have to do is put on The Power in You by William Green. Mind, body, and soul. And music is healing. It is truly healing. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I mean, your music is amazing. Hey, we want to give a shout out to Miss Angela P.
Angela. Hey, let me tell you something about Angela. First of all, she's my publicist. She's my business partner. And more importantly, she is a great friend and supporter of my music. I say this with great affection, but sincerity. For those artists that are now viewing this interview,
Mhm.
I want you to consider that you need to elevate your presentation as an artist. You need to be able to have your thumbprint musically, oratorically, embodied in various platforms. This is the woman that can do that for you. Angela Moore, APM, holla at her.
You need to holler at Angela. That's right. And
That's
also check out my girl Rose Lady Edmond. Also, she's with the Jazz Lovers Corner. Make sure you check out Rose Lady. And if everyone doesn't remember, April is Jazz Appreciation Month.
right.
So what's your appreciation about jazz?
My appreciation about jazz is the fact that it is the perfect genre style of music that allows a musician or an artist, a musical artist, to express themselves outside of the box.
Right.
One of the things that we were always taught as children as we were growing up in school is make sure that you color inside the box.
Yeah.
But jazz music allows a musical artist to color outside of the box. That's my appreciation.
That's your appreciation. And that's what I tell people that I love about jazz, because even though it doesn't have, say, lyrics to it, but you imagine when you listen to old music like, Billy, Dizzy Gillespie or, Billie Holiday, any other jazz artist, and there's no lyrics. Could you imagine what they're saying in the song?
Not only that, Jazz, not having any lyrics definitely allows the imagination to capture a specific picture just for you, the listener.
Right.
Each listener is going to capture a different interpretation of that song when there aren't any lyrics.
Right.
But I do want to make mention that there are some jazz songs that do have lyrics.
Right.
That not only allows the listener to capture that imagination, but you then take on a secondary means in which to imagine this idea and thought that someone's conveying. I don't want to say I regret in bringing this up as an example, but this may not be one of the examples that most people would envision. The song "Strange Fruit" by Billie Holiday is the perfect embodiment of lyric and jazz.
Right.
Now, in terms of the lyrical content, it could very well take on a variety of meanings.
That's true.
Especially if you have no connection to what she is even implying.
Right.
That's the first dynamic. The second implication of that is when you see the analogy that she uses lyrically to describe what is a part of our history, you then have to, you merge these ideas together by which it could only be expressed with jazz music. You could never have heard that lyrically in a rock and roll song.
Oh, not at all.
It just wouldn't work. So I think that's one of the more significant aspects of jazz music. The music will always carry a thought and an idea, whether it's attached lyrically or not.
No, that's true. Because a lot of people, I've been musically inclined. I think, since I was a little boy, my parents loved jazz music. And I can remember probably around the age of maybe about 28, when I first, I guess, paid attention to the song. And I sat and listened to the lyrics. I said, "Strange Fruit," and then the popular tree. And then I'm a history buff on civil rights. And I said, that's what she, because I'm thinking like, what does this song mean? And that's what I so much love about jazz music.
Yes, sir. And there are other songs that are not as heartbreaking, if you will, or heartbreaking really doesn't describe that particular thought. That I was really just using that word, to kind of move on to it, because I don't think that I've ever heard any one song that has really delved into something so cancerous in our history. Now, again, but using the analogy of jazz, you know, there's a sister whose name is Jazzie Horn. You want to check her out,
Okay.
Jazzie Horn. She has a song that's called "Free Your Mind."
Okay.
She's a jazz singer.
Okay.
And the way that the song comes across, you hear the jazz rhythm, you know, with the drums. But what she's saying again now is something that refers to what one must do with that which they've been given. And so again, it takes on different different understandings depending on the individual who's listening, you know, to jazz music. And that's why I mean, I can't help but to appreciate it.
Yeah, I love jazz. And again, everyone, welcome to the show. If you're just tuning in, hi Keith, I'm Jazzie KWard, your host for Artist Talk. My special guest tonight is national recording artist William Green, composer, songwriter, and producer. And you know, we just to shift things back a little bit, how did your musical journey start?
Well, interesting that you asked, because I probably have answered that question at least some 2,500 times. And I'm honored every time I get an opportunity to share that. My musical journey began at around 6 or 7 years of age. My father was a Baptist minister in Chicago. My mother was a choir director and singer. The two of them were at the same church where my father was the assistant minister at this particular church. And I remember, and it was told to me by my parents and my siblings, that because we had a piano and an organ at home, when we and I would come home after church, I was able to musically reproduce everything that I heard earlier in church at 6, 7 years of age. I would go to the piano and I could pick out, I could hear these, you know, the song, whatever the hymn was. Now, granted, at 6 or 7, maybe my proficiency at it wasn't as it is now, but for a 6 or 7 year old person to be able to identify the key or the sound of the key without knowing what the note was, right, and fashion it around it sounding like the song was, you know, pretty significant. That went on up until I was about maybe 10, and I then was hired, for lack of better words, to play for the same church at 10 years of age. Okay. This church was a very prominent church in Chicago, of which the pastor, his name is Lewis Rawls, and he was the stepfather of jazz legend vocalist Lou Rawls. Lou Rawls. This particular church where we were a part of was the largest church in Chicago at that time, by which it seated 3,500 people. Okay. That's a really large church for that time period. This church was so large that it held the funeral capacity for Mr. Sam Cooke. Okay. This is where his funeral was. So at 10 years of age, I was hired to actually play for the worship services at the church. Okay. I then started taking piano lessons from different instructors around Chicago, primarily in the gospel area. Once I got to high school, I was introduced to the high school band, CBS High School. 1978 is when I graduated. But for those 2 years that I was a part of this CBS High School orchestra, this is where I was able to ingest the understanding of musical theory. Okay. What notes are, how to form chords, how to formulate a song idea, how to recreate songs that have been performed and recorded. And keeping in mind, all through this period, as I was growing up, I always had music in my ear. My dad, even though he was a Baptist minister, he loved jazz music. Now, unfortunately, my mom wouldn't let him listen to jazz music in the house. But he was also a barber. And so he had a barbershop underneath in the basement of the house. And here is where I heard him play his jazz radio. Oh, wow. Jazz music there. I got pop music there. I remember one day driving in the car with him, riding in the car, asking him, "Hey, Dad, how do you get all those people inside that box?" Right. And that's where the door opened for me, my imagination about how powerful this thing was. I knew what it was doing to me, how it made me feel. But now I was in search of how can I make this feeling in me become what other people feel. I left Chicago in 1978, having graduated from Chicago, came here to Atlanta, Georgia, where I've now been here 43 years. I came here with the intention of going to school at Morehouse College, which I did for about a year and a half.
Okay.
Ran out of money. I then decided to go to Georgia State University to study commercial music, law, contracts, things of that nature. I didn't graduate because right about the time in the middle of my, I would say, my experience with Georgia State, I then started going on the road. My first road performance was with the sons of Otis Redding. He had 3 sons, and we did a military tour in Europe, and that's where it all started happening from that point.
That's why. So, ladies and gentlemen, for more information on William Green, make sure you go to williamgreenmusic.com, and we're going to take a short break, and William is going to play some amazing music for us. Just to tell you a little tidbit, when you were talking about your dad and jazz, a lot of people, some people probably knew and some didn't know, Dr. Martin Luther King loved jazz music. He would sneak, and listen to jazz music. Just a little history fact there for those who didn't know. Okay. So keep it locked right here. We're going to take a short break, and we're going to have more conversation with composer, songwriter, and producer, William Green. Hi, this is Jazzie KWard, your host for Saturday Jazz Affair on FM 90.7 WVAS. Join me for a new segment of Artist Talk. That's 10 a.m. Central Standard Time each Saturday on WVAS. We're going to talk to artists about their music, have great conversation, and much more. That's on Artist Talk on 90.7 FM WVAS. Of course, you can stream the show via WVASFM.org. I hope you can tune in. Hey everybody, welcome back to Artist Talk. We're talking with our special guest, William Green. Don't forget, go to williamgreenmusic.com, and your latest single out, it's The Power in You. The song is powerful. It's uplifting, beautiful song, and you're going to play that for us right now. Any story about?
And I didn't mean to talk over you, but just to make mention, this is one of three releases that we've done from the upcoming CD, which is entitled "The Power in You."
The Power in You. Awesome. Yeah. Take it away.
Hope you all enjoy it. Here we go. The power in you. The power in you. The power in you. Power in you.
That's right. The power is in you.
Right.
I love the song.
Thank you very much.
It's very uplifting. It's very positive. You know, again, WilliamGreenMusic.com. I'm telling you, the brother has that it factor, and that voice. That voice is on point.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
So
And Dan, I didn't mean to cut you off. I do want to make mention that you said something earlier in your introduction that you were hopeful that you will learn how to play by the 29th.
The 28th.
28th. Now, if you had said the 29th, I think we could make it happen. But now you got it a day earlier. We're going to have to polish up some things for you, brother.
Okay, my brother. I mean, clearly, like, who were some of your influences? I'm just going to tell you when I listened to you, I immediately thought of George Duke, Quincy Jones. People, you know, I immediately thought of those artists. You know, who were some of your influences?
Those two gentlemen by far are in that category. The gentleman who really sits on top of my mentorship, my just wanting to, at a young age, wanting to sound like or have the impact of his sound. He just celebrated his 80th birthday, I believe, yesterday or day before yesterday, and that's none other than Mr. Herbie Hancock.
I was going to say that. Like,
yes. That gentleman there, his music by far has been the most impactful in my life as a musician. And then there's others, Joe Sample.
Oh, yeah.
One of my close friends who lives right here in Atlanta, Georgia, who is one of the two keyboardists for the supergroup Frankie Beverly and Mays, my longtime friend Vance Taylor, who you'll hear a lot about in the future. He's another one of my musical influences.
Oh, wow. Did you ever get the opportunity to work with Herbie or meet him?
No, I haven't. But I just said the other day as I was washing dishes and just vibing, you know, into the universe, I do hope I get a chance to meet him before either one of us leave the planet, needless to say. That would be a true joy.
Yeah. Hey, Costella. Thank you so much for stopping by. So, you know, when people listen to your music, you know, William, what do you want them to take away?
One of the things that I would like for people to take away from my music is a sense of, I'm going to use the word urgency. Now, that's one of several words. Urgency with regards to what is important in your life. Okay. What do you seem to feel requires the utmost attention in your life? If not your life, maybe the life of someone else.
Okay.
That, along with a sense of a sense of identity with regards to the person that you are, the human being that you are, the spirit that you embody, feeling good about what you have become.
Okay.
If not as an adult, you know, there are a lot of teenagers, youngsters who are now starting to embody and embrace jazz music as well. And so with my music, I would hope that even they would have a sense of identification, meaning this is something I want to be like, I want to sound like, I want to continue to have that around me in other areas of music, not just jazz, whatever else you listen to. You want to have that same kind of feeling from it.
Right. So let me ask you this question. What's the most difficult decision that you had to make to pursue your destiny in music? If any.
Yes, and it continues to happen. And that is making the decision to separate myself from someone.
Okay.
Or something that becomes a deterrent for my success. whether it be, a musical acquaintance who doesn't really have what's necessary for me to accomplish something that's being asked of me to do as a music director, meaning I have to hire people, to provide this service. I can't just do it myself in a lot of cases. And then sometimes in my, I'll use the word, my social life outside of music, those components and those people are just as important, if not more important, because I have found that even, and Jazzie, this is something that I saw you post.
Okay.
People say they're in your circle.
Right.
They're not in your corner.
And that is so true.
And so I'm aware of those factors, and those are some hard decisions, I have to make. But at the end of the day, I'm going to do what's necessary to keep this moving.
Right. And I even think that's important, someone watching, this program, they want to pursue the same path that you have followed, so many others. I think it's important to have the right people in your corner, because in this business for growth, it's important. And I think if we had more support in, people supporting us in our craft, that it's not always lights, camera, action, everything is going to be A through Z. You're going to have those challenges. Any advice you can give anyone that wants to follow in your career path?
One piece of advice is, don't follow me, the flesh. Follow what's resonating within your heart with regards to information that I would share with you. Because me, the flesh, at my age, at my level of experience, has fallen short. I haven't always had all my I's dotted and my T's crossed.
Right.
I had to learn over the years, over different experiences. Just yesterday, I had an experience with a potential client that showed me the importance of doing something that secures a commitment with someone who wants to hire you.
Right.
And to be more specific, get a deposit. Get a deposit. If someone is seeking after your service, they've obviously done enough homework or research, or should have, to know who it is that they're about to hire.
That's true.
And especially if you've been recommended to someone by someone else who's credible.
Right.
Those things will happen, and you want to make sure that you can avoid them happening, because they're going to come in different types of scenarios. They're not going to always be the same situation. You know what I'm saying? Be smart about your business,
right,
before you become too smart about the music.
That's right.
Become smart about your business. What are you planning on doing that's going to provide you a sense of longevity in this?
That's true. I think that's important that you mentioned that, William, because just like some artists, even, when the pandemic happened, you just never know. Life catches all of us off guard, right? So even in your midst of whatever you're going through, let that music also make money for you while you're not working.
It is supposed to. It's designed to do that.
Right.
And there is great reward behind it. Not only the financial means of it rewarding you, but you have a sense of pride and accomplishment about this art, about this gift that you've been given. And you see that even in spite of some people who have maybe better corporate jobs, or so they thought they had better corporate jobs or better positions. But to see them now, the playing field has been even amongst all of us.
Right.
Everybody, I don't care who you are, high or low, even the people that are on at the top, they're still trying to catch up now to where they used to be.
That's right.
And the people on the bottom, they're slowly but surely, they were able to rise a little bit because of the support that we've got, either through the government or, the universe has a way in which to change things around to move the alignment of those who are aligned with the universe. That means if you are purposed with whatever your passion is,
Right.
the universe will align you to connect with these individuals who will keep placing you in the steps of your success.
That's true.
And it has to be first by how you thinking about this gift, this craft. Do you value it? Because if you just, find it to be important today, and then tomorrow you're sleeping on the sofa playing a video game all day long, as opposed to practicing, as opposed to making sure that you got your social media platforms in line, making sure that you have adequate attire if someone should ask you to do an audition somewhere.
Right.
These things are very important. You're always looking ahead of yourself, beyond where you are today.
That's true. That's so important, William. And just to shift things back, talking about the power in you, tell people that are watching the program, and I know this is your 5th project.
This will be my 5th CD, yes.
Yeah, your 5th CD. So how can we support you in your music?
The I wouldn't say the best way, but the ways by which become best for me are to first go to the website, williamgreenmusic.com.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where you'll be able to buy and purchase all of the music from my catalog. Right. You'll also be able to find my calendar where I'm performing. Right. You can also find me on the various social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Here, if you're living in the immediate Atlanta, Georgia area, mm-hmm. I'm currently doing a residence performance every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night at the world-renowned live music venue known as Cafe 290. Oh. Cafe 290. Have you ever been there? Are you familiar with it, Jazz?
I'm familiar with that place.
There you go. Every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Showtimes are at 9 and 10:45. It's in the beautiful city of what's called now Sandy Springs, Georgia.
Right.
And I'll be there as a resident performing up until the 4th of July weekend. Right there are the best ways in which to, support me. If you are a fan of mine and you've been following me over the years, and you can let other people know that in listening to my music or in considering to purchase my music or have me in your library, you won't be disappointed.
No, at all. Costella said, "Hi, William."
Hey, Costella.
Make sure you check out Costella. Her new single, Mojito, is
okay.
Make sure you check her out. And
I want to also mention, if you don't mind, I do a Sunday afternoon internet radio show.
Okay.
The name of the show is called Sunday Renaissance and Soul Jazz. You can find it on JPRG Radio. Jack, Paul, Robert, George. JPRG Radio, Sunday afternoons between 4 and 6 p.m.
We're going to have to definitely check that out, William. And, before I let you go, I know you've shared the stage with Earl Klugh, Melba Moore, also one of my favorite, Gene Carn. I love Gene Carn. Boney James, like Curtis Mayfield. Any other, who do you plan to work with next? Anybody else you can tell us about?
So many people I want to work with. This young lady who I haven't had the pleasure of meeting her, but she's been a guest on my radio show. Her name is Cy Smith.
Oh,
Cy Smith.
I love her.
She is the absolute bomb, man. I love her voice. So I'm looking forward to working with her soon. I'm hoping to reacquaint myself with my good friend who I toured with for like 10 years around the world, around the latter 95 through, around the early 90s up until the end of the 90s. And that's my good friend, Peebo Bryson. Looking forward to him possibly doing some recordings. And then there's some other artists who I don't want to mention their names just out of respect, but those people just kind of come to mind.
Oh, awesome. What about, are you going to perform back at the Capitol Jazz Fest? I know you performed there previously.
Yes, I've done that previously, and I am looking forward to going back. Of course, we're waiting to see what the circumstances behind the pandemic are going to change or alter when it comes to crews, performance. Me personally, I'm ready to go. So anybody that's looking for an artist for a jazz show,
Right.
Contact my agent, my publicist, Angela Moore. We're ready to go. I'll have a face mask. I'll have a hazmat suit on. Whatever's necessary to make that trip. Ready to go.
Well, William, my brother, thank you so much for coming on Artist Talk. Again, if anything I can do to support your music, you're in my corner. I will always support you, my brother. And I'm gonna have to make it over there to one of the shows at
Please
Cafe.
contact me before you come so I can leave you and a guest your names at the door.
I will, my brother.
Okay,
Again,
brother. Thank you all. Thank you all.
thank you so much. And come back on the show anytime.
I will. Thank you, brother.
All right. And don't forget to pick up your copy of The Power in You. Go over to williamgreenmusic.com. Before I let you go, William, if they contact you personally, can you sign the CD for them?
I can. And I don't think, would it be okay if I just gave my number out now? Or would that be cool? Or would you suggest another means? Tell you what, here we go. On my site, williamgreenmusic.com, you can become a fan of mine. If you will then leave me a contact, whoever you might be, if you leave me a contact number or email, I will contact you and I'll make sure that I autograph that CD. Now, keep in mind, Jazz, the CD is not out and available as of yet. We're going to make an actual worldwide notice of this release date by the end of this month.
Okay.
And I'll be sure to take care of that for you.
I appreciate it, my brother. Take care of yourself, and we're going to catch you next time, okay?
All right, brother. Take care.
All
Peace.
Right. Thank you. Wow, y'all. Another great conversation. William Green, composer, songwriter, vocalist, producer. This brother has that it factor. And if you don't know William Green, as I say, shame on you. I'm your host, Jazzie KWard. Thank you so much for those who tune into the show. Thank you, Keith, Costella, Angela, Rose Lady. I hope I didn't miss anyone, but thank you all for your support. Don't forget to go over to KWard Radio on my YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, as well as KWardRadio.com. I appreciate all your support. Any monetary value you support you want to give the show, all of my information is listed there, PayPal, Cash App, as well as any artist interested in coming on the show. My contact information, email address is there. Don't forget to join me on tomorrow for another great show right here on Artist Talk. And join me on Saturdays on WVAS FM 90.7 from 8 a.m. until 12 noon. That's Central Standard Time, as well as Artist Talk show that starts on Saturdays at 10 a.m. My special guest on Saturday is Billboard recording artist Michael J. Thomas. You don't want to miss that, guys. Have a good evening. We'll catch you next time. Remember, make sure you take care of yourself and be kind to others. Good night.
A live one-on-one conversation, 30 minutes of pure entertainment with musicians, writers, and actors, to motivators, chefs, and even rappers, to up-and-comings with the it factor. It's the Jazzie KWard coming at ya.